Afternoon, welcome to your number one talk news and sports radio station here in Port Harcourt, Nigeria Info FM. This is the sunny side of life where we get to have all the conversations as you would expect them. I'd like that you join me on this lovely new week that we've stepped into to have interesting conversations for development as we always do. 21 minutes gone past 12. I am Gabriella, welcoming you to the show. We're going to kickstart the show today with a very pertinent question. A question that we sometimes have asked ourselves and other people around us. A question that sometimes we find difficult to answer. At other times in our lives, we find quite easy to answer. Maybe temporarily because of where we are, financially, emotionally, and otherwise. It's a question about happiness. When you hear that word, happiness, what comes to mind? What is the first thing that comes to mind when someone is asking, are you happy? What are the criteria for you in particular to determine how happy you are or not? We'll talk about the concept of happiness on this hour. At 1 o'clock, the news updates. BBC Stock comes up at 1:30, and Family Matters at 2 p.m. with your series.
Different ideologies,
different perspectives.
Share your views on the sunny side.
92.3 Nigeria Info.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Now, a dictionary definition will tell you that happiness is an emotional state that is characterized by feelings of joy, feelings of satisfaction, of contentment, and fulfillment. While happiness has so many different definitions, it's often described as, involving positive emotion and life satisfaction. So that good feeling you experience on the inside when you're satisfied with your love life, you're satisfied with your financial life, you're satisfied with where you are at any given moment, you could say, well, I am happy. You look at your pockets, you say, yes, my pocket is heavy enough, I am happy. You look at your spouse, your partner, you say, oh, he treats me well or she treats me well, I am happy. You look at your family, your career, your business, and when you look at all of these areas of your life, you kind of feel satisfied and you say, yes, I am happy. But is it possible to actually experience happiness when things aren't going so well? Because according to this dictionary definition, it's an emotional state of joy and satisfaction, contentment and fulfillment. That means when you do not feel fulfilled, you cannot be happy. Do you find that to be true? Because the truth is, when most people talk about happiness, they might be talking about how they are feeling at the present moment you're asking, or they might be referring to a more general sense of how they feel about life overall, because happiness tends to be such a broadly defined term. Psychologists and other social scientists typically use the term subjective well-being, and that is when they talk about this emotional state that we know as happiness. And just as it sounds, subjective well-being tends to focus on an individual's overall personal feelings about their life in the present. But there are two components of happiness. One is the balance of emotions, how you're feeling, whether negative or positive emotion, feelings, your moods. Happiness is generally linked to experiencing more positive feeling than negative feeling. And the second component is life satisfaction. You take a look at your life and you take stock, and you feel satisfied with different areas of your life, including your relationship, your work, your achievements, your finances, and other things that you consider quite important to yourself. When you feel that satisfaction, you could say, yes, indeed, I am happy. But a big question I want to ask you, I'd like that you join in, is, are you truly happy? If you were to take stock of your life right now, would you look at all of the things that you experience or enjoy right now and say, yes, I, Gabriella, am truly happy. Not fronting for the gram, not, saving face for your friends or your family, but genuinely, sincerely, when all the doors are shut and you are left alone, can you say that indeed you are truly happy? Well, music star Korede Bello came online to share over the weekend about the concept of happiness. He said most people that you think are happy today are only trying to look happy. But is anyone truly happy? He mentioned something and says, yes, there are a lot of people who are actually happy, but they stop being happy when they seek to be happier. That's something you might want to think about. Because again, like I earlier said, that feeling of happiness comes with a level of contentment. You're content with where you are. You're content with how your life is turning out. You're content with your financial life. You're content with your emotions. You're content with your mental health, your family, your work or business. You are feeling content. But when you take out contentment from the equation, do we also take out your happiness? So I want to know on the show today, let's talk about being happy. Are you truly happy? And if yes, how do you measure your level of happiness? What are the things that you take into consideration when trying to figure out how happy you are, or if, as a matter of fact, you were happy? And if no, what do you need to see happen around you or in your life to make you happy? Now, again, in conversations about relationships especially, I'm sure you might have also heard, like I've heard, people who center their entire world and their essence around their partner. So if that relationship is not working, they cannot find happiness in anything else, nor with themselves. And that's why you hear things like, oh, I built my world around you and you brought it crushing down in my face. You hear things like that because you have based your happiness as an individual on the other person in that relationship. Maybe that's what the most important thing is for you, because everyone has different priorities and preferences. To me, the most important thing to me could be perhaps, I don't know, looking good, for instance. That could be the most important thing to me. So even if my relationship is failing, even if my business is failing, even if my job is failing, or whatever area of my life is failing, I still feel somewhat happy because I look good, because I still have good clothes to put on, good shoes to put on. That's an example, So people have different priorities, and which is why I'll be opening the phone lines in the next 3 minutes. The phone lines will be open, and I'll like that you call in and let's have a conversation about the concept of happiness. What is happiness to you? How do you measure your level of happiness? And the big question, are you truly happy? Are you truly happy? 0817-923-0002, 0817-923-0003. You can also call 0817-923-0007 or 0817-923-0009. You can also join the conversation via WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number is 0809-030-6416. We're also on Facebook at Nigeria Info 92.3 PH. I've got a very happy Brown. Happy Brown is calling from GRA. Good afternoon, Brown.
Gabby, you're very funny.
But aren't you happy?
You already clarified me as a happy Brown. So.
Okay, tell me, are you happy?
Yeah, actually, Gabby, happiness, just as you said, people can define it in different ways. Actually, happiness has a lot of definitions. But the definitions I want to use is scriptural. I hope you permit me.
Oh, there's a scriptural definition for happiness?
Yes, at Matthew chapter 5 verse 3, that place say that happy are those who are conscious of their spiritual needs. for they will become sons of God. Okay? So I based on that, I think genuine happiness comes from when one is conscious of his relationship with his Creator. That is our God. When one is conscious of what he or she can do to have a good relationship with his God. Yes, material possessions can give a certain level of happiness. But what we ask is, does the happiness that material possessions bring, does it last? Does it last? So if one bases his happiness or depends his happiness because of what he has around him, what if those things are not there tomorrow? What happens to the person's happiness?
So tell me, Brown, are you happy?
Based on what I explained, I am happy. Though I am not materially rich. As in, like when it comes to financially, but I'm rich towards God. I'm very rich. So that richness I have with God makes me happy.
Makes you happy. All right, Brown, let's move on to other callers waiting.
That inner satisfaction.
Thank you so much. Chimbroma from Rumokuta. Good afternoon.
Yes, Gabby.
Good afternoon, Chimbroma.
Good afternoon. God bless you. Like me, there's a particular reason why I'm happy.
Tell me.
Yes, and that reason is that I'm not lying down in the hospital.
Ah.
Yes. If you go to the hospital, you know the reason why one should be happy. Yes. And then the reason why most persons are not happy is because you have, fixed yourself in a standard that you cannot maintain. When you are competing with people, today in our world, the big man you saw yesterday becomes a poor man tomorrow. You begin to wonder, and then how will you do? You wouldn't allow people to see you. You'll be dodging people because you have, put yourself in a standard that you couldn't maintain. Don't boast. People shouldn't boast because you find yourself in a particular position today, because you might not know what tomorrow may bring. That is why I see a lot of people are not happy. People, because of wealth and all that, people competing, people have involved themselves in a lot of fetish things and detestable things. So like this Christmas now, they have to do some sacrifice to maintain the standard. And you see their heart beating. No big men you see today, they have.
So that means that a person needs to train themselves to be content, to be truly happy, regardless.
Just, if like you said, some people might be okay because their face is fine. Especially they are fine, they're happy. How will you be happy when your children's school fees you cannot pay? Landlord is on your neck. So people should be, don't put yourself in a standard or in a level you cannot maintain. That's what I'm saying in essence.
All right, Chimbroma.
Tell what tomorrow may bring.
All right, Chimbroma. Thank you very much. Let's move on to Messiah from Eleprawa. Good afternoon, Messiah. I lost Messiah's call. Please call me back. Mr. Zion from GRA, I do bet you're very, very happy.
Oh, may God bless you this afternoon. I'm a happy man.
Oh, goodness.
so happy man. When I measure my trust level, the way people trust me makes me happy. The way I trust people makes me happy. My tolerance level, before I don't tolerate that much. But now I found out I tolerate a lot. When I measure it, I'm a happy man. My mental health is okay. My emotional health is okay. My attitude is in check. It makes me happy. My health, generally, some certain liquid content we normally consume on weekend basis or daily basis. Some people can try that. They can't. Well, not forgetting my GDP is very important. Anybody will tell you say money is necessary for happiness, don't believe the person. Money is needed.
So in a situation where you don't even have that money, how can you find and sustain happiness?
Now, personally, without money, I am okay. I'm very happy even without money, because my basic needs are already been met. There is no way a call will come into my phone, Mr. Zion, this is the situation, but by the grace of God, we are not able to fix it up. So on that area, I'm very, I'm just thanking God for that. My freedom, oh my goodness me, I'm calling you now, nobody's restricting me. I'm walking up and down. I can travel to anywhere. I can visit anywhere, go anywhere. This alone gives me that happiness. I'm not restricted or confined by health reason, by political reason or whatever reason. I am not. So what kind of happiness do I need? I won't get. Tell me any show, invite me, I will be there for you, Gabi. Tell me any kind of meal, I will cook it for you. By the grace of God, I cook for my family. We are celebrating. In short, there's a slogan in my house. We eat, we drink, we marry. You can't take this slogan away from us. I'm a happy man, Mr. Zion.
Mr. Zion, thank you very much for calling. Now, whilst it's easy to say, oh yes, people need to, just like Timberman said, people need to stop setting unrealistic expectations for themselves, which is what causes unhappiness and causes that desperation to want to do things you're not supposed to do just to attain a certain, social status, to feel happy, to feel like, yes, you have arrived. Do you also realize that in some cases, what we think is contentment is not really contentment. It's a level of the ability to manage and to persevere. Example. Yes, you feel, oh, right now I don't have enough money to attend to all my needs, but I'm happy because I'm content, because I believe that one day my light will shine and things go better. You think so. But let's take away the food on your table today. Let's take away the food off of the table of your children. Let's take away your ability to even find money to borrow to pay your children's school fees, which is what you're content with right now. Let's take away your clothing. Let's take away your house. Let's take away everything that you know. Let's take away your wife or your husband. Let's take away your job and your business. Let's leave you broke and stark naked under the bridge somewhere. Tell me, in that low state, can you still find happiness within yourself? Think about it and call me. Williams is calling from Oyigbo. Good afternoon, Williams.
Yeah, good afternoon, Gabriella.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, I'm listening to your conversation. That's why I called.
Go ahead.
Yeah, as for me, there is nothing to be happy about when things are not going the way it should go for a person. Those callers that called, they may be right in a way, but when they have nothing to complain, when they have nothing that is bothering them, then they should be happy. But when you have needs that you cannot meet, like the last caller said, that he's always happy when things are, as in all his basic needs are met. He's right. The other caller talked about something, a kind of setting a standard, and then when you cannot meet up to this standard, then it becomes another thing. What about living just the normal life, not just setting a particular standard? Because I believe that we should set a standard. We should live a life that we can easily service. So when you cannot even service this simple life, you can't be happy. The children's school fees you cannot pay. You cannot send your children to school. You cannot even feed them well. There is no money to do anything. When you are sick, you hardly access, medical care and all that. So why would one be happy when you find yourself in this kind of situation? So for me, in my own opinion, it's contrary from what the other callers, are saying. For me, I am not happy when things are not going the way it should go. When I cannot see food to eat or see money to buy things to meet the needs of my children and all the rest of the issues
I have at hand. Thank you.
Williams, thank you so much for that. Now, that being stated, I like that we're kind of, drawing up a balance. There are people who say, yes, they can be happy and content with regardless of whatever state they might be in. And for Williams also saying, well, I cannot be happy if my basic needs at least aren't met. But let's look at it from another angle, Let's assume that, like William said, your needs are not being met, and the picture that I painted earlier before I took his call, you're just at a very terrible low, a new kind of low life. You don't have money, you don't have a shelter, you don't have clothing, you lost your wife or your children or your husband, you lost your job, you got fired, or your business crumbled. Everything just seems not to be working like you expect, and you don't. It's as though there is no leeway in view. There is no light at the end of the tunnel for you. Is it possible to still find happiness in that kind of situation? Is it possible to still experience some kind of happiness in that kind of circumstance? Or would you say happiness as a concept is based on how well you're living your life? I'm asking this question because we found very, very popular, famous, wealthy people who suffer depression and are not happy. We've also heard of such people who were really famous who committed suicide because of depression. They had all the money in the world. They could afford to travel to anywhere in the world. Their children are enjoying the highest luxuries that life can offer. They have everything at their disposal, yet they are not happy. So, if having all your needs met does not necessarily guarantee happiness, that also means not having your needs met does not decide or determine whether or not you're happy. It also means that if you don't have all your needs met, you can still be happy, because even when you have your needs met, you can be unhappy. So, how then, or rather, what inspires happiness in a person? How can a person find happiness within themselves, whether or not life is throwing lemons at them? Double is calling from Umekene. Good afternoon, Double.
Yeah, good afternoon, Gabriella.
Good afternoon.
How happiness should not be based on material things. Happiness is all the state of mind. Happiness is inbuilt, because you can have all the necessary things in life, the money, but you might not still be happy because something is lacking, which are self-contentment and self-love and self-value and self-trust. If you have all the money in life, you don't love yourself, how then will you be happy? You are not contented, you will not be happy. Even if you have like 5 million naira in your account and your expectation is to have 20 million naira, since you don't have up to 20 million, you will not be happy, because you base your happiness on material things. But it's not supposed to be so. Material happiness is a state of the mind, self-love, self-contentment.
I like that you mentioned that, Double. Hold that thoughts. I want to come back to what you just mentioned. Happiness is a state of mind. I like that you mentioned that. Can you expand on that a little bit more?
Okay. A state of mind means, like I said before, it's an inbuilt. When you love yourself and you are self-contentment, that is your like the state of mind. You being contented in whatever you have. That is what will make you happy. It's not on material things. That is what I'm saying. That is what I meant.
All right, Double. Thank you very much for your thoughts. I wish you a happy day. All right, let's take some comments on WhatsApp. The WhatsApp number once again is 0809 030 641. 0809-0306416. Franco Confidence says, going by economics theory that human needs are unlimited, no one can truly say that he is happy because he got all his needs met. But it's imperative to understand that happiness is not measured by achievements but by contentment. Happiness is self-activated and self-determined. It's a state of mind. All right, Franco Confidence, thank you very much for your thoughts. But quick question though, how do you activate happiness when your landlord is banging your door down to pay his rent? How do you activate that kind of happiness when your girlfriend just of maybe 5 years just broke up with you and broke your heart? How do you do that? You know, I'm gunning for something. I'm still looking for the answer, because again, there's got to be that ingredient. There's got to be that one key factor that helps us, you know, helps us understand the concept in perspective, in full perspective of what happiness really is. But I believe we'll get to that before the end of the show. Babalola from Port Harcourt says, good afternoon. I am not happy financially, mentally, spiritually, even medically. I hear people say other people are facing worse. If Dangote was looking at other people, he wouldn't be the richest man in Africa. People will tell that you don't compare yourself to others in terms of succeeding. But when it comes to bad things, you should see what others are going through and be happy about it. Anyway, I am not happy. I don't have any reason to be. Oh my goodness, Babalola, thank you for your message first of all. But I do believe that you have some reason to be happy. The fact that you have data to send this comment via WhatsApp is something to be happy for. The fact that you can even hear me speak right now on radio means that your ears are working just fine. Some people are deaf. That's something to be happy for. I believe if you look around your life, you will find so many reasons to be happy. So I can understand when you say that you're not happy because, you know, financially, mentally, spiritually, and even medically, you know, things are not going the way you want them to. But I'm just trying to encourage you to find reason to be happy. All right, so let's speak to Samuel. Samuel is calling from Omagwa. Good afternoon, Samuel.
Hello, this is Daddy Cool.
Hey, Daddy Cool. What's good?
Calling from Omagwa.
Go ahead.
Okay, you know that Bible says that great gain with contentment brings contentment brings great gain. You understand? Contentment is godly devotion. You see some people say mentally imbalance, but they are always happy. Happiness does not depend on external circumstances. Sometimes the external things we have makes us happy, but it doesn't work. What can make us to be really happy is inner sense of peace. Depends on the way we think, the way we reason, the way we are able to perceive things, perception. Understand, having this sense of joy because of the hope you have. Because there are too many things happening today that can make us so sorrowful. It's that on a daily basis. But if you can be able to interpret things for ourselves, spiritually, that is what can make us have this sense of inner peace. We're talking about happiness. Because ordinarily, there are too many things going wrong that can make somebody feel he want to commit suicide.
All right, Samuel. Thank you so much for your thoughts. Let's take some more comments. We're running out of time. Soki Fabara says, some of the happiness here in Nigeria is actually temporary. We live in a messed up environment, but the hope of ego better is what keeps us going. Most Nigerians are living in very bad situations. Soki Fabara from Port Harcourt, thank you very much for your thoughts. But happiness in itself is temporary by nature, isn't it? I mean, think about it. You could be happy right now, and in the next 10 minutes, something happens and you're really angry, you know. Or the next 10 minutes, you're depressed. You just get into a moment of pain and tears and depression, you know. So happiness in itself by nature is temporary. But I don't understand what you mean, you know, coming from, you know, the angle of Nigeria and its many wahala, you know. Toby St. Hobbins says, good afternoon, Gabby. Sincerely, there is no genuine happiness. Most happiness that we see today are just made up to encourage or let others know they're okay and satisfied. But inside or in their secret, they would agree that all is not well. The only happiness is the almighty hand of God in our lives that is sustaining us for the better days ahead. Well, the thing is, Tobbins, thank you for your thoughts, by the way. Like I did mention earlier, that mask, you know, that facade, as it were, of happiness is not really happiness. Happiness truly is what you really feel when no one is there with you, when you're alone. That is when you can actually judge you're happy. So yes, I totally, you know, I agree with you on that note. But the thing is, you can actually be happy. It's almost unbelievable because of our times and the challenges we're facing, but it is very possible to be actually happy. Very possible. Anyway, to other comments, wow, this person literally sent me a long list of scriptures. Can't take that, sadly, it's too long. Temi Tokpa says, hello Gabby, happiness does not mean absence of worries. Remember, we cannot wait until life isn't hard anymore before we choose to be happy. Happiness is a choice that you make when you feel contented with what you have. Thank you very much for that one. A final comment says, good afternoon, Gabby. There's a saying that goes, the only good to a common man is hope. So what kills most is lack of hope. As such, if I have hope, that gives me happiness. Ubong from Woji. I like that you put it that way, you know. It's also one way to look at it. So even if you may not necessarily be satisfied with where you are, but you're kind of hopeful that tomorrow will bring about better days and more sunshine into your life. That's one, you know, thing to always remember. And I think it's very important to note as we wrap the conversation up that happiness isn't just that temporary feeling of constant euphoria. You know, it's an overall sense of experiencing more positive emotions than negative emotions, and it's a choice. Like many people have already said, you choose to be happy. So when you wake up in the morning, your siblings are getting on your nerves, your children are getting on your nerves, your partner, your spouse, your husband or wife, that is getting on your nerves, you speak to yourself and say, you know what, today I will not be angry. I refuse to be angry. Today, I am going to be happy. In spite of what happens, yes, I'm hungry. I feel hunger pangs. My children are crying. But you know what? I'm not going to let it get to me. I will be happy because I believe that tomorrow it go better. Even if tomorrow comes and it never better yet, you still hold on to that hope, because hope doesn't fail. It doesn't ever fail. And it's on that premise of hope that we can actually choose to feel content, because indeed better days will come. So as you go about your day, I want you to constantly remember that you are in charge of your happiness, not your condition, your circumstance, not the people around you, but you. You decide whether you're truly happy or not, whether you allow the things around you get to you or not. And I say in closing that you're stronger than you think. You can actually pull through whatever situation that is. You can pull through. So by all means, persevere and stay happy. And as you wake up tomorrow morning, it's going to be a Tuesday, I want you to ask yourself, am I happy? Am I happy? And your answer should determine what steps you take to coin the rest of that day. Thank you so much. 1 o'clock happens in 4 minutes. The news updates, and right after, for conversations.